Let me kind of introduce everybody, including myself. Looks like okay, Julius, thanks for recording. Um, so welcome everybody. So as an introduction, I'm Jeremy Mendoza. I am the president of Fil-Am Innovators and your host for this evening. And excited to meet with everybody tonight. It's a crazy time, right? With going back in the purple with COVID and Thanksgiving coming up, but it's I definitely appreciate everybody being here. I'm excited to get to know some new faces and being able to interact with everybody today. So today's agenda, we're going to do some self intros. So everybody will get a chance to kind of give their 60, 90-second introduction of themselves, their business, and so forth. Then we're going to get into the education segment with Mike, and then we'll do a few announcements and recognition and close out with some final words. And then we end promptly, typically promptly, I should say, at 5:30, but some of us do stick around after. I'll be sticking around for a little bit. So if you have any questions about our organization or just want to hang out after, feel free to do so. Um, so who is here for the first time? I know Mike is here. Bennett, it's your first time here as well,
Yep.
right? Eugene, yeah. Looks like we got somebody logging in through audio, but if it's your first time, welcome. Obviously, any returners, we welcome you back. I'm going to just quickly introduce our leadership team. You can just wave when I call your name, and then everyone will get a chance to introduce yourselves. But I do want to give special introductions to our co-founder and board chair, Eugene Narciso, who is the president and CTO of Escardio. And we have the co-founder and chief strategist, Julius Alejandro, founder and project director of Village Up. Give us a big wave. We have our co-founder and head of marketing, Ramel, who I believe is not going to make it tonight, but he is our head of marketing and he's the CEO and co-founder of Dip Social. And we have our education coordinator, Leilani Delian, who is the founder and CEO of My Legacy. Yeah. And we do have a couple positions open, including a membership chair and some others. So if anyone's interested in volunteering their time or stepping up into a leadership role, that's something that we can talk about certainly later. But let's talk about who we are as Fil-Am Innovators. So our charter is to foster entrepreneurship and represent the Filipino-Americans in the technology startup space. We believe in creating a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem through mentoring, networking, and education. Our mission is to establish a community of problem solvers, risk takers, innovators in any professional field. Create your cohort to establish a robust and lasting company. Extend your network to scale your venture. And last but not least, represent our community to the rest of the startup and business community at a national scale. So, with that said, as I mentioned, we'll do some self intros. So what I'll do is I'll kind of go down the list. I'll call you out when it's your turn. I'll start with myself, and I'll go to the board, and then of course our first timers can go next. So when you go up, just give us your name, the company you're with, your role, any product that you service that you provide, and anything else that you want us to know in the 60 90 seconds. Also, just as kind of I don't know, an icebreaker, with the spirit of Thanksgiving being next week, why don't we talk about, share with us your any Thanksgiving traditions that you have, any household Thanksgiving traditions, or a childhood memory of Thanksgiving. I think that will be interesting to see what some of the things we have in common or some of the things that we might be a surprise to others. So I'll start once again, Jeremy Mendoza. My company is Annex Q. I am the CEO and founder of Annex Q, and we are the developer of a sales engagement platform, which is used in business to business sales for a prospect and a seller to engage dynamically within a shared portal to be able to communicate and store information, documents, anything that has to do with the sales cycle to move the sales cycle along, make engagement better, and move the sales cycle along as well. I also am the director of sales for a SaaS company called Endea, where I target manufacturing companies in the enterprise space. So technology and sales is definitely my passion. And let's see, Thanksgiving tradition. I have, I'd say recently, in probably the past 20 years or so, tradition is always watch football, um, of course, the whole eat turkey, but I'd say a cool tradition that I always have too is there's no doubt we're always going to have some sort of Filipino food, and it's always going to be, in addition to pumpkin pie, there's always going to be leche flan. Someone's bringing that, and then pancit. Someone's always going to bring pancit. So those are some of the traditions we have, and then and like I said, football, eat a lot, spend time with family. I have 2 daughters that I love spending Thanksgiving with. So that is my Thanksgiving tradition. I'm going to hand it off to Eugene to go next.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Eugene Narciso, and I'm the president and CTO of my own company called sguard.io. We are the leading technology company committed to developing innovative ways to protect your internet privacy by making you invisible to like phishing, malware, tracking, and even advertisement as you traverse through the internet. We bring the internet back to what it was before, or what it was intended to be, a faster, safer, and private and secure experience. By trade, I'm a software engineer. I've been in the industry for roughly about 17 years now, and I've been, been in many of the tech companies here in San Diego, notably like Qualcomm, MedImpact, Sony Entertainment, Teradata, and and we move forward. So let's see, factoid tradition. Thanksgiving tradition is usually we don't eat turkey. I personally don't like turkey. Usually a pot roast. So we tend to cook pot roast, and yeah, that's usually when I do my gain about 10 pounds, 10 pounds in a single night. So yeah, it's a session. So I love it.
Just enough,
right, so,
gain just enough to do your to start your New Year's resolution, right?
Exactly. It continues on too. It really continues on to the rest of the holidays. So like,
oh yeah,
it's usually more than 10, usually about 20.
Nice. Well, awesome. Thank you for that. Let's go to Julius.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Julius Alejandro. I am the founder and project director of Village Up, is a regional initiative to increase diversity in the San Diego tech ecosystem. So it's so that's what we do. We're trying to generate a report in 2021 about the basic state of diversity, and also just kind of identify the barriers to entrepreneurship for underserved communities. So I got 2 verticals. So my daytime job is I work for a nonprofit called Rise San Diego. I do their social media engagement. The second part is I'm a consultant, so I do leadership development and trainings. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Julius.
Oh, and tradition is actually, this is a brand new tradition started 2 years ago, where my family, when I showed up, like we started doing kamayan. I was tripping out, like in a good way. But I was like, what? Like, yeah, it wasn't your traditional, like, yeah, we had a little traditional, a little tricky, but now it's like the main feast of the night was like kamayan, and I'm like, with my relatives, but fortunately not this year, but looking forward to next year. So there's something that's a brand new tradition.
Nice.
Is that like the boodle fight kind of thing?
I love it. What was that?
Is that like the boodle fight type of setting? Like where they eat on a leaf? They eat on a table,
the whole thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've never tried that. I gotta try that one day.
Nice. Awesome. Well, let's go over to way up near Coronado Bridge, to Leilani.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leilani De Leon, and I am the founder and CEO of My Legacy. It's an early stage startup company, and I am developing a first of its kind online personal storytelling platform that makes it easy for all of us to capture our memories, tell life stories and experiences for the sake of our legacy. I have been involved with Fil-Am Innovators for the last couple of months. I'm the education coordinator. So if you have somebody that's interested in speaking, sharing some knowledge and education for the entrepreneurs here, please let me know. As far as traditions are concerned, my family's always celebrated Thanksgiving with a normal American kind of Thanksgiving dinner. But when I became a mom and now I have teenage kids, we have a new tradition as well. And we do cupcake wars. So I have teenagers, and so they each get 4 cupcakes, and we give them an hour to decorate in different categories, and they can win for money. And they are all about it. So like we will have a category typically like, best looking turkey, best looking pumpkin, best looking whatever, and they have to decorate the cupcake to make it look like the category. That's our tradition.
Sounds fun. How much money are we talking here? I want to come over and
it depends on how much money I have, but typically each category, we have 4 categories, and each category is like $10. So if you sweep them all, you get $40.
Yeah, not a bad deal. Cool, thanks for sharing. And to kind of echo what Leilani said, if there's anybody here or anyone that would like to be a presenter in any of our upcoming meetings, we are definitely open. And it's again, anything that has to do with educating entrepreneurs, small businesses. I mean, that's where we get our most value. So please reach out to Leilani on that. So why don't we go to some and I didn't. It looks like I do have someone that logged in a little bit late. I don't know if it's someone who crashed. It says Fug Hatix. I don't know who
that's Adrian.
Oh, it's Adrian. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't I go to CJ?
Cool. So, hey, nice to meet everyone. My name is CJ Bumate. I'm a student at SDSU. Finishing up my last couple semesters. I'm also involved with 2 startups, both of which are mobile app platforms. One's still in the ideation phase, it's called Neighborly. The second being Till, which is in the app stores now. Pretty much it's a platform where restaurants are able to sell their surplus of food in the closing hours of their shift, and customers are able to get it for a discount. So we help reduce food waste, and as a Filipino, that's pretty big in our culture. Also started working with a company called GoSite, which is a web app or a web platform which offers a bunch of digital tools. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to.
Cool. And let's hear your Thanksgiving traditions or childhood
traditions.
memories.
Yeah. Well, I'm still part of a military family, so Thanksgiving is kind of all over the place for us, but Christmas is pretty big. We always go to midnight mass. We're always in the Bay Area for Christmas, so my mom's side, so it's pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, midnight mass. Always so hard to stay awake when I was a kid. I remember being like 10 years
yeah.
old. Like...
yeah, and I still to this day. Just wait for the food.
yeah, right. Let's go with Mike. I know you're gonna have some time as well, but let's hear your 90-second, and hear your tradition.
Oh, perfect. Man, the tradition is I would say it's the normal. I wouldn't even say tradition. We have a huge family on both ends. So I have 3 of my own boys, so 11, 5, and 3 now. So it's usually just trying to go to everybody's house. I don't know why we commit to everybody. Like, why do we have to go everywhere? But for some reason, we have to go to my parents, which is usually the lunch, and then the turkey L-tryptophan kicks in. I wake up and then get up and go to the next one, So, I mean, it's just not like 3-4 places in one day and eating the same thing is yeah. But it's neat. The post part, I think, is pretty cool. My parents usually make, out of the turkey, like you said, CJ, food. My mom's from, Quezon City, Manila, very poor. Nothing gets wasted, right? So it's like turkey soup and all the bone of the ham and whatever she can make. And so it's pretty cool. A few days after I go visit, so it seems that's a pretty tradition for a week after,
Yeah. And don't forget when the butter's empty, you use that as Tupperware, right?
Oh yeah. Well, the old country crock. That's your Tupperware.
Exactly.
Like my Lola did that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Country crock. Oh my gosh. Like what happened to the regular lunch sack? I don't know.
Nice.
Nice to meet everybody.
Cool. Yeah, no, glad you're here. Let me move down to Bennett.
Hey, nice to meet everyone. I'm let's see, job title follower and fan of Julius A.
Yeah.
So I was a co-founder. I was actually the founder of the Connect All at the Jacob Center Business Accelerator at the Jacob
cool.
Center, which I ran for a while from beginning. I am now the Chief Innovation Officer at Elias Enterprises. I don't know how many of you guys know Tony Elias.
Yeah,
Guys, Tony. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he showed up last meeting.
he was here last meeting. Yeah.
5 or 6 different global endeavors for the Fil-Am community that we're pursuing,
Nice.
including global transportation, electrified vehicles and things like that in the Philippines, as well as really looking at the Filipino school here. And we just released a 14-part reality show series of 8 young Fil-Ams who went back to the Philippines and rediscovered their roots. And it's now available as a 14-part show on the Filipino-school.com called Pilgrimage. And then later on, at the beginning of January, we'll do an animation series with instead of you know how Black Panther stepped up the game and the identity of the African American youth in the community, we're going to do the same Filipino heroes. So we're going to do this
I like it.
Filipino heroes. Now produce that. So
Cool.
yeah, so there's a whole bunch of endeavors that we're doing both in the Philippines and for the Fil-Am Nation in the United States. And we'll get in, we can talk about that another thing. But what else did you ask? Thanksgiving traditions. Oh, so Julius knows this, I am the most non-traditional person you will ever meet. I hate the notion of tradition. I hate the notion of doing things twice. So I try to eat at a different restaurant every day and eat something different on the menu every day and never repeat myself ever. So I eat at 360 something, whatever, different a year. So what are we doing for Thanksgiving this year? We're going to actually fly to Tulum, Mexico, which is right outside of Cancun.
Oh, cool.
And staying at this crazy looking hotel I heard about called Azulik, A-Z-U-L-I-K. Check it out. It's in the jungle. We're going to be eating some jungle crazy indigenous food. I have no idea what we're going to be experiencing, but if you just look at azulik.com and check out this place, it'll blow your mind. It just looks amazing on
put it in the chat. I want to check that out.
Check it out. So that's where for a week, myself, my wife, and my 2 daughters, we're going to be there from Monday to Monday next week.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. So your tradition is a new tradition every year, basically.
What happened, but it's a crazy looking place, and it's just crazy, gorgeous, jungle modern. How else can I call it? Jungle modern, man.
Yeah, jungle modern. I like that. Nice.
It's like Ralph Lauren did jungle.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the work you do, and I'm excited to hear about what. So is there like a Philippine Uganda or something? Where's the
a Philippine Uganda? What do you mean?
Like you're talking about the Black Panther and Black Panther?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll let you know. It'll be called the Filipino Story at this point. It's a placeholder name, but it'll literally be basically trying to do our version, because we witnessed how it transformed the pride of a lot of the young Black community, right? And gave them a mainstream vehicle to that once. Who was the smartest person in the planet? It was a young Black girl who was the chief scientist of Wakanda. Come on now. I mean, that's stereotypes, right? Now, granted,
Wakanda, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It was so mainstream that young Black girls can now say, dang, I can be the top scientist. I can be a top engineer. I can do anything now. Well, we got to do the same for our culture, right? We got to represent and put up some role models on mass media that say we're capable of anything too. We just, for whatever reason, haven't gotten around to it. I know lots of people have tried here and there all over the world for decades, but now that we actually have resources to get these things done and make it happen. So so if you get a chance, go to the reality show in the meantime, Pilgrimage on the Filipino.com, and check out the 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, put that in the chat.
You'll see what it means for 8 young Filipinos to go back to the Philippines for the first time and go, oh my God, I didn't even know this is where I came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know how beautiful my country was. And
my little sister's actually on there.
I need to do from this point on, and how all my choices in my life going forward are going to be different because I'm reconnected to my culture.
Awesome. Love it. Cool. Let's go with Adriana.
Hi, my name is Adriana. This is my first time here, so thank you guys for having me. I'm
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a second-year marketing student at Miramar College. I work at the
Nice.
startup incubator at Miramar College, the REC.
Oh, right on.
But I'm also involved in 2 startups in the REC, which is Trembook. We're creating a platform for estheticians to network and teach each other. And we start beta testing next week. And
Oh,
then I'm
wow.
also involved with Bridge, and we are an app where any user can create a QR code to network easily in an online platform. And our app launched in September. So if you want to check it out,
Oh,
just look
wow.
up Bridge and Network
Congrats.
on the App Store.
That's
Yeah, thank
exciting.
you.
Yeah, share it in the chat. I encourage anybody to share anything in the chat, so it makes it easier for us to reference back. But yeah, that's awesome. Congrats on those 2 startups. Tell us about your Thanksgiving traditions.
Thank you. I would say my family does a pretty standard Thanksgiving. We go to my grandparents' house, watch football, eat turkey, and the normal stuff.
Yeah, I like it. The normal stuff. Football. Did I miss anybody?
Adrian.
Adrian. Oh, Adrian.
Wow,
Oh, look at that.
this guy.
I like that.
This
That's not
guy.
a virtual background. That's not a virtual background. That's a real background.
Exactly. That's not a
Wow.
virtual background.
Wow. The fact that you have
I'm
good
flexing
signal.
a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
flexing
right?
The
high
fact that
key.
you have a good signal.
I'm at the office right now, y'all.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Adrian, aka Fugatti, or as Jeremy calls it, Fugatix. Full-time creative. I help companies create content to stay relevant and stay in front of mind. And I work with Village Up in helping them create content. And right now we're creating a survey to get more diversity, to be more included and make people feel more like they have more of an opportunity than you know who. My Thanksgiving traditions is that I come from a very religious background, and my father just became a pastor officially. So I don't know if I'm officially a pastor's kid or like an adopted kid. I don't know. And we go around and we hold hands and pray. Probably not this year with COVID, but we say something that we're grateful for. So
Nice.
I don't know. Does everyone do that? I thought that was normal.
Like on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we do, but it gets real awkward. Like people kind of get all weird about it. But
Okay, then you're doing it right.
yeah. Okay. So this is not our house then. Okay, good. That's good to hear. Awesome.
It's a pleasure to meet everybody.
Yeah, pleasure. I'm glad
here.
I'm glad you made it, and I'm glad to see that you weren't someone who just crashed our party. That's cool. I like your office.
Yeah, it's an immersive virtual background.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, I think that is everybody. So why don't we get into the program? I'm going to hand it over to Leilani to introduce our featured speaker.
Yes, and we're very happy to have our guest speaker today, who is Mike Sarmiento. Mike is a retired college baseball athlete. We'll want to know more about that later, but for now, today, he's an experienced senior sales consultant with Vensure Employer Services. Human resources and employee services are a critical component to any business. And as entrepreneurs, knowing what is needed, when and how to find those resources are critical. So today, Mike is here to talk to us about the basics of HR and employer services and break down different models depending on your team's needs and company. So please welcome Mike Sarmiento. Take it away.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for that intro. And I think it was, I still think I'm an athlete. It was just, I don't know, 16, 18 years ago was my last college year. So, it goes by that fast, but thank you for having me, everyone. And really, I'm here to talk about how sexy HR is to companies and, and payroll, right? We all really know that employees and everybody else needs it. We just don't like doing it, but we also know that families need to get paid so they can go and feed their families. So the biggest value thing to the payroll HR world when it comes to Vensure is a national platform that offers the payroll. So payroll is a really big component to any company when it comes to paying, quarterly taxes, making sure you're compliant, making sure you take out the right amount of taxes out of the employer and the employee side to make sure, your CPA is happy. So really that's a key component to any company. The HR portion to it, when it comes down to the value part of why it's a smart move to outsource HR when it comes to small mid-sized markets is because you guys didn't get into business and you guys didn't start a company to really work on non-revenue generating tasks like payroll weekly and dealing with disgruntled employees or finding out if you're compliant in California, correct? Because it's absolutely like so many rules. Like you think you have it, tomorrow there's a new one, especially with COVID, especially with, what you can and can't do, and, making sure OSHA compliance, if you have a brick and mortar place, all these things that really don't generate you any money. It actually can cost you money if you have a little oopsie, correct? So here, I'm really just here to kind of explain a little bit how important and open it up to questions and kind of just explain, 3 different platforms that my company that I was able to sell probably the last 10 years of why and how I've seen companies really grow. And I'll bring down some statistics and just kind of keep it open forum if that's okay with everyone. But really, when it comes to focusing on your business, reducing the time spent, as I mentioned, with revenue generating tasks like payroll, whether, and I suggest people, when you do have employees, I wouldn't do weekly payroll. That is just too much to do. Okay. So either you do semi-monthly or bi-weekly because of how much you have to keep up with weekly payroll, and payroll usually is, takes a lot to go. So, and then really the big part of outsourcing is reducing your administrative costs. As the small mid-sized market, I deal with anyone from 2 all the way up to 100, 200 employee. We call that mid-sized market, right? Really hiring an HR person is very, very expensive. They start probably in the 80 to 120,000, base salary, depending on the experience and the needs. But really, those are really needed for, if that's specifically what you're doing, your ROI to that may not be, you're not really hiring that much, you're not really there's a lot of moving parts. So a lot of times, using a compliance HR platform outsource really helps the business and also saves the company dollars when it comes to that. But becoming also peace of mind. So a lot of times I use the example to my employers, like, hey, for me, I own my own house. I have, big yard, grass, do all that. I know how to do all that stuff. But with my 3 boys, it takes like 2 to 4 hours a weekend to do it takes me 20 minutes just to get the extension cord. Guess what? My gardeners, they come, they're really cheap, 15 to 20 minutes, they're in and out weekly. And I do the math. I was doing it for a year and a half to teach my boys, how to do stuff. I outsourced that, and I saw the quality of not wasting 12 to 16 hours a month. That was just taken away from quality time or time that I could be making more money, And so really, that's the way I really look at the platform that I do offer with Vensure. And really, when it comes down to the technology part, having your employees feel like they are part of a Fortune 500 company when they get to log on their mobile app, when they get to see like PTO, paid time off tracking, when they actually get to say, hey, look, like they don't have to contact you as the owner or the office manager that, hey, can you verify employment because I'm buying a car? A lot of times people don't want that to happen. They want to do it on the fly. They want to log in and just print out their pay stub and prove income right there. And that right there, whether you're a small company or a large company, that's the Fortune 500 benefits that I am talking about. I've always worked for a publicly traded company, and that seems to be the norm. In addition to that, we're talking if you had to offer employees benefits because of size or key employees or executive or management level, having real Fortune 500 medical plans in order to offer your employees really can help attract and retain your top talent, because the competition out there, let's say in the tech space, you have all kinds of different competitors. Some got more funding, some didn't. Some people have more money to throw at people. So the last thing you want to lose, to your competitors by benefits. And when I say benefits, that's health, dental, vision, life insurance. And the biggest one that a lot of people they forget about is the 401k. So if you're a small company that offers that 401k where you're actually vesting into your employees, hey, whether it's 1% or 5% or just a regular small fee, that keeps them from wandering, I guess, to other employers or even, catching on to somebody else. Hey, look, they're offering this, we don't have it. But you can also see it as you're investing into their future as an employee, and they can grow with the company as well. And the other portion to it is the workers' comp. So what I also deal with, in the introduction wise, I am a fully licensed life and health workers' comp and Series 6 and 63. So I come from the financial services world. So I have all these licenses, and that's kind of how I came into the B2B space when it comes to, I'm a senior consultant. So meeting C-level, meeting all the executives, talking about how I streamline, how I can save them money. And sometimes it may not be saving today, it might be the return on investment later. So, hey, let's package it up today. Let's really learn the values of why this is important and how this is going to help my company. And really later on, you're not getting sued because you're protected. You're not getting sued because you're compliant, or you're not paying a bunch of fees to the IRS because you didn't pay the right amount of taxes or whatnot. But a lot of the a little different thing here is the three packages, as I quickly want to go through. I'm able to offer a simple sign on. Every portal that I have to offer at my company is able to go with the basic, middle, or the highest white glove service plan. And that right there really is, you can start small and upgrade later with a seamless integration. That being said, when I'm talking to payroll, we have the basic package, which has payroll. Employees can definitely just sign in, have their own portal. Taxes are taxes, they'll be paid. And then the middle portion is the HR portion, which is payroll and HR. And that right there, no insurances, nothing in there. The third part, which is the white glove service, is payroll, HR, and master policy benefits. And that's where the true feel of the Fortune 500 benefits that people can operate with their company when they offer that. And that's the health, 401k. As a business owner, you have to have workers' comp. If you have employees in the state of California, you're able to capture discounted rates from a master policy standpoint. So the PEO, as they call it, which stands for Professional Employer Organization, they partner, and they're basically the Costco. They invite, all of you business owners to the platform, and it's a shared cost to get discounted rates when it comes to workers' comp benefits and all of that. Just a quick rundown, the competitive advantage of using a PEO, or let's say outsourced, is, PEOs, small businesses, they grow 7 to 9% faster than businesses who don't work with the PEO. And then they experience 10 to 14% lower employee turnover average. And those are really, when I meet with people, that's really a key driver. They don't want to train somebody, show them the ropes, and then they go to the competitor, and then they make the competitor better because of all the insight that they've learned from your company, and all you could have done is just said, look, we have a 401k, let me contribute, 1 to 2% of what they're contributing or whatnot. But just so you know what's out there, there's more than 900 PEOs in the US, and that's nationwide. And they provide services to over 175,000 small to mid-sized businesses nationwide. And within those small, mid-sized businesses, the employee total of all those is, employee-wise, is 3.7 million employees onto. So it's nothing new. It's really a lot of people do it based off of the streamlining costs, helping their company, just moving on to say, look, we have to do this. We don't want to do it. Let's focus more on building those widgets and making more money. So really that's kind of the you know, the venture in a nutshell. I've been in the PEO space or payroll or benefits for about 10 years now. And I was fortunate to work with Jeremy. It was 2012 and 13 actually. So it went by pretty fast, getting older. So yeah, I mean, really the biggest thing is if any questions when it comes to, you know, starting off payroll, starting off with HR and recommendations, you don't really want to get too tied up in the HR and spending late nights, you know, researching all these new rules and everything that goes on, because it's a waste of time. You would rather focus on how you can, you know, really get your company onto the next stage, to the next, you know, way of generating more revenue, you know, growing, scaling it. And so really that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. Like I said, I love the insurance pieces of it. I love helping people. I love kind of helping companies not get sued, or if they are trying to get sued, to say, look, I made the right decision to partner with a big PEO or an HR firm to help go to bat with me because they have deeper pockets than my small company. And usually that's really a big one. And some of my old past clients, they really have said certain things, you know, hotel companies to construction companies, to any of those ones who have employees that really, unfortunately, bite the hand that feeds them. Really, that's kind of the big positive of why they said it's worth every penny, because of the fact of being able to manage that, the bad part of being an employer, right? So that's just the real truth. So any questions or anything right out front? And I definitely will be sending, or, you know, I can provide just one pagers just to kind of shows there's so much to it, but at the same time, just a high level of kind of what I went over. And it's good to familiarize yourself a little bit with what's out there. Any questions or that I can clarify and go over?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Mike, for being part of our meeting today. I think I heard you say that you can help companies as small as 2 employees and then scale as the company scales, which is fantastic. I would say that the companies that are, or the entrepreneurs that are part of Fil-Am Innovators at this point, some of them are early stage, some of them are a little bit farther apart. So my question to you is, when do you think is the best time, or what's that inflection point for a startup company to integrate a service like yours?
I would say anytime that you're ready to start the basic, right? Obviously payroll, because taxes, actually getting that started, because let's say you do catch a huge contract and you know, trying to get that in motion, in addition to finding employees and a lot of moving parts. And it happens a lot of the time. I see just getting that infrastructure built in place like now doesn't really hurt to kind of get the ball rolling. And then at that point, you can also have that, you know, with new people that you're hiring, it's like, hey, this is how we have the onboarding. It's electronic. It's, hey, you get your single sign-on portal. We have this. So really, that's kind of the whole part of it. But I would say, you know, from a discounted price, obviously, I know Jeremy for a while. I have the rate sheet right here. I will give you the lowest I can, because I'm obviously not the owner of, you know, definitely discounted prices. It would be, you know, pretty much, as you say, like the Fil-Am family discount. But yes, I would say the earlier the better, but payroll. We're always looking for a discount, right? We're all full.
Always.
Of course.
I hate paying full price.
We never play full price.
Absolutely. I'll get it used before I buy a full price, you know, so.
I do have one question though.
Sure.
Based on your industry, what are you with the whole COVID thing? And now there's a lot more people are working remote. Therefore, there's an opportunity for a lot of employers to move out of different cities, different taxations, and different states, honestly. So what kind of challenges have you guys seen based off of that, especially in the compliance stage or state of like different states?
Good question. So really it's depending on where the business is filed, right? So domiciled. So you can say Delaware, but if your company is already established here in California, which most people have registered, having employees out of state and doing all this other stuff, that really comes down to workers' comp. Some states prefer that, have to have workers' comp. Texas, you don't, but everyone gets it because of, hey, one workers' comp claim could, fold somebody's business. But really, when it comes to the corona and the whole challenges, nobody really knows. Workers' comp is really a big, big challenge with companies because of the fact that now they have, let's say, 50 employees, and now, 45 of them minus the executive or management, they're all working remotely from home. How do you qualify a legit, claim? And that's where workers' comp, and I've kind of kept up to date with that. They're kind of integrating that into, hey, look, COVID is also a workers' comp deal claim. So that could really affect employers that pay a good price because the way you're rated with workers' comp, you kind of have a credit score per se as a business, and the higher claims you have affects your credit score. And we all know, unless you're 100% liquid, my credit score is everything. I make sure that's how I leverage, you leverage stuff, right? You have a bad credit score, you can still get a car, but it's going to be absolutely crazy how much you pay. So when I talk to business owners, when it comes to that, the workers' comp part with COVID, it's always good to have that support on that HR portion to kind of say, hey, look, what's the new up to date? Because it's been changing. I mean, obviously the last 8 months I've seen with PPP loans and the CARES Act, there's so many things that are like, I thought that this is the way it was. And then last week, but yes, no, that's a great question. I would say definitely, it's definitely moving, but wherever you're domiciled, that's kind of the taxes you're going to pay where you registered. Yep.
Particularly us, we're Delaware C Corp. So,
there you go. Perfect. Smart.
Yeah.
You did it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. You're a lot of people.
One of our challenges really is looking for talent, so when we do look for talent, and it essentially going to have to be like outside of state, just because the competition of compensation does get a little bit hairy and high here in California. So we do post a little bit far and wide. So it's going to be an interesting challenge once we start onboarding more into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, make sure you give me a shout. I'd love to, chat with you and kind of put our heads together to kind of figure out, best practices and kind of see how, we can win more in the nation space of competition wise. So.
Agreed. I do have one more question.
Yeah.
So tech startup, right? Tech startup, everybody, it's all about equity. It's all about equity. So what's the best practice, or what kind of practices or you've seen in the tech startup space when it comes to key employees and their equities? I mean, usually there's a percentage that gets diluted by the founders, and then you allocate that to the key employees. So give us some tidbits here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Something I like to do.
Yeah, I would definitely say if it's a key employee, definitely I would throw, everyone likes to feel important, right? So when they go in and they want to go back and tell their family or their friends, benefit wise, you have to really put your best foot forward when it comes to investing in them. And when I did touch on those things of, obviously the benefits, benefit wise, you have to pay 50%, right, of any employee's benefit. That's just standard. Sometimes you can just say, hey, look, 100% paid benefits right out of the gate. In addition, we're also going to match. The more hooks that you have in them for, to come on, the less likely for them to leave. And that's with the 401k. I would say even I've seen some companies even say, look, I'm going to pay for your health 100%. And then, 50 or 75% for your dependents, or which the family plan. And they build that into the cost of making a decision. A base salary might be more elsewhere, but zero paid out of benefits. And it's not one-to-one, but I'd say, hey, look, if you paid, the $1,500 for their family to come on board, and then they see that as more of a benefit than, oh man, I had to pay $1,500 for my family for health, But the base salary is high. Sometimes they don't even do in the columns, which I would shocked, but lower base salary, but hey, benefits. benefits is a key driver, and you will lose a lot of talent to benefits, and especially if they ask you about the 401k, or they ask you about, hey, what platform or who you're using. And if you just say in-house payroll, they may look at you as like, wow, how savvy are you as a tech company, you know?
Yeah.
And it's tough, definitely, where you blow it up to say, look, the technology part of this, you have your own login, it's mobile app, X, Y, and Z. They feel a little bit more comfortable to know that, hey, if I come on board, they have the administrative back office part set up, and they can be more confident in hopefully moving forward with the package that you have.
That's so true.
I'm curious
I've worked
about
for
the-
technology. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, follow up to Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is something I'm super interested in.
Yeah.
In terms of total cost per employee, what is the national average at the moment? I know we have a base salary plus, right? There's a percentage on top of that. I've always known, and I'm not, hired people before, and know the total cost on employees usually around 20 to 30%. Is this still the national average, or is there?
I mean, I would say somewhere in there. I mean, you can add that to it, because really, some of the plans, the businesses that I work with, I look at how much it costs, like a $20 employee, or let's say a $40,000 employee, office job really isn't 40,000 plus the tax plus I mean, you're talking well in the 100 to 120,000. So it's like double based off of all the stuff. That's why turnover is very expensive when it comes down to losing that, whether they worked a full year, 2 years or not, onboarding them with taxes. You have to pay for, SUTA, FUTA, FICA, all this stuff that comes out, some cap out, but at the same time, you lose that employee, you lose time, you lose so much more that comes along with it. So no, I'd say the average is roughly in there. And I know being competitive is definitely, money talks, right? And,
It sure does.
Yeah. And I see a lot of times people hook line, they kind of do instead of the full package guaranteed out front, they break it up into meeting goals, right? So, hey, look, you get a bonus if you make this, or we get into here, I'll put, and a lot of times equity, giving people a little bit of equity share in the growth of the company is a good way for them to be motivated to kind of stay, to grow together. And they have to work for it a little bit. And so there's a little bit more skin in the game when it comes to that. I'd say obviously for your executive key employees, that's a great conversation to say, is you can own 1 to 2%, whatnot, if things go right, with your help.
That definitely is
right?
A better hook.
Oh yeah, that's, so now you have like 5 silos to kind of really sell them on, right? Not just the regular benefits that they have, but the number one thing is equity share. When a lot of key employees really want equity in the company that they're, promoting. So
Yeah.
Great questions.
Awesome.
What were you saying on that, Jeremy? What'd you have on that?
Oh yeah, no, I just had a comment that it's so true what you're saying. Like I've worked for technology companies, and there was nothing worse than like working for a technology company and their own technology like either lacks or it sucks. And you're like, I'm in a technology company and we don't even have technology for ourselves. Like I hate that. It's such a, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like we're trying to position ourselves as a tech company, but yeah, those little things do make a big difference. But yeah, we can go on and on with questions. I actually have some questions and maybe we can talk
Sure.
offline. I mean, I have questions about 1099s and because as startups, right, we're always like, okay, like 1099 intern, like, you know what I mean? Like every little bit that we can kind of save. But for the sake of time, why don't we move along? And then if anyone has any other questions, I don't know, Mike, if you can say after.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good.
Afterwards. But for as we wrap up, all I really want to do is first I'll just kind of let the board have the floor if they have any announcements. Are there any announcements? Julius, do you want to start? Do you have anything at all? Any announcements?
No. No announcements this month.
Okay. Anybody else? Eugene, Leilani? No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Cool. Just a usual plug for more volunteers and so forth. I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, in that case, we will wrap it up a little early. I always like to end with kind of final thoughts. If anybody has another 30 seconds or so to just say anything from, what they thought about the meeting, or if they want to kind of give kudos or recognition to anybody in particular in the group, then that would be a good time. And I'd be more than happy to start. And I don't want to take too much time because I could just really thank everybody, but I definitely, obviously the leadership team I've been working with closely, and you guys have been awesome. But I want to give special recognition to Eugene, who's helped me personally on my business, who's like literally gone on like calls with me to talk to my development team, like totally taking time out of his day, just as a total like advisor, consultant, however you want to put it. I mean, just super helpful. So I just want to give a big shout to that. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that like, we get out of these types of meetings and groups, right? Like,
and that's what we do, right? I mean, that's the whole point of the cohort is to have that
exactly. I mean, so huge. I mean, like I said, being that, and you guys know, I always like to kind of jokingly say, like, I don't know technology, I just sell it. But it's kind of like how it is though, right? Like when it comes to the product development piece of my business, like when it comes to technology, like I just don't know it. So a lot of times, not only does Eugene have that piece, but being that Eugene's, further along in the startup world, like, I mean, anything from investing to, all these things, like just super, and we go out for beers and I just pick your brain and I learn a great deal. So I just want to definitely say that. So, but
many nights has been open.
Cool.
So many nights I have to, we have to like study it because these are one of those realms that I don't have any experience in. So I have to kind of study it, and especially in the investment world. So that's gonna be, it was many nights.
Curious.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna give a shout out to Adrian who did my photo shoot. So shout out to him. If anyone's interested in updating their headshots and professional picture, hit him up.
Oh, for sure. So he's the one that got you the GQ cover.
Yep.
Okay.
That was him.
He's still out here.
Cool. I'm gonna hit you up then.
It looks like a sunset.
Yeah.
I gotta pay my electric bill.
Yeah, right. You change your background. Cool. Yeah, no, that's a good shout out. I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks, Julius.
I saw that. Anybody else want to give a shout out or just kind of talk about what your thoughts about the meeting, feedback, anything?
This is my first time here, and I really appreciate. I already wrote it down, but Jeremy, you're killing it, facilitating, asking questions. Filling in the blank space there. So I think you're a great host. So
thank you.
Great job.
Much appreciated. Adriana, anything?
Yeah, just thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to find this network of Filipino startup. Yeah.
Hope to see you again. And we want to hear about how the beta is going. I'm actually, I'll connect with you because I'm actually at that. Eugene knows I'm at that stage right now. I'm ready to launch that MVP, and it's a crazy time. But
I want to give a shout out to Adriana because she's the other female here. That way I won't be the only one.
I love it.
Thank you.
We're always trying to find it's rare to find. We talk about just Filipinos in tech, and then we talk about females in tech, right? And so it's just so cool to see
Filipinas.
Filipinas, yes. There you go. Cool. Well, awesome. CJ, do you have anything?
Not the top of my head. I think.
Well, it's good to see your face. It's good to see your face.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
Normally, you just you're just kind of like behind the scenes. We see your picture. But...
Neighborly.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool.
Oh,
Well,
so
no, go ahead.
One last announcement. I just wanted to emphasize that the growth of the success of Fil-Am is basically on network. So if you guys know anyone that would be interested in this kind of topic or this kind of cohort, we encourage you guys to notify or mention Fil-Am Innovators to them and let them invite them to the monthly events. Again, we have our charter. We just really want to create a large community, like-minded, and quite honestly, it's not limited to just Filipinos. Okay, the emphasis is that Filipinos, Filipino in tech, topics regarding about entrepreneurs that happen to be Filipino, but the audience can be anyone. It doesn't have to be exclusive to Filipinos at all. So we do encourage it. We'd like for you guys to spread the word. Julius had put up the website into the chat. Really encourage you guys to kind of just mention, or even like mention it to your LinkedIn, to your social media, because that's usually the way we kind of spread the word. Is we can run ads, but at the end of the day, ads doesn't really capture that personality, like that go-get, that risk taker that we were looking for. And again, including the founder, including Leilani and like Jeremy, we're doing this as a voluntary thing. We do this in our spare time, and we would love to have more people to help us out, grow the community, and again, spread the word.
Yeah.
And we have some positions too, just where Jeremy had mentioned.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested in contributing in any way, especially in a leadership role, we certainly encourage it, but definitely no pressure at all. It's all optional. Again, the main thing here is to just help each other, mentor each other, advise, and network. So please contact us if you are interested. As a reminder, so we do meet once a month, and that's every third Tuesday at 4:30. So keep an eye out for an email or on LinkedIn. And that really concludes our meeting. So we thank you for joining us today and meeting us on this beautiful Tuesday. And we hope you join Fil-Am Innovators team in the future, where we go against the grain. We go against the grain. Let's not forget that. Against the grain, the rice.
Exactly.
Grain. No, just the grain.
The rice. No, the rice grain. Go against the rice grain.
Yeah, go.
No, you're the brown and the white rice. Yeah, you're the brown and the white rice.
So, if anyone wants to stick around, please, feel free, but don't feel like you're being rude if you jump off. But yeah, so like I said, I always want to end on time to respect everybody's time. And if you have any questions, stick around. Otherwise, have a good rest of your night.
I also shared my contact. Please, if you guys want to share your contact, put it on the chat. We'll capture it. Stay in touch. I put my email in there. I mean, I could put my cell phone if you guys want.
Yeah.
Email's fine.
Yeah. Nice.
I respond to my email, so that's fine.
Sometimes, yeah.
And Julian, Julius,
sure.
Julius, did you get a picture?
Oh no,
yeah,
I didn't get a picture.
You want to get your screenshot? Come on.
Hold on. Hold on. I'll wait for this.
Yeah, get that light on. Get that.
on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
Wait. I think I had the same shirt last time we had this thing, dude.
Man,
Same shirt. Is that what you're saying?
Probably washed it.
Yeah, did you wash it last month or?
No comment.
And if you guys, by the way, if you guys ever want to join us for beer, I mean, Leilani, I think left. She can attest to. Did Leilani leave? Yeah, she joined us last time. I tried to. I wish she was still here because I wanted to explain to her that normally we do talk business when we're together, but gosh, last time I don't think. I mean, we were just. I don't think we
just shoot the breeze.
Yeah, we just, we're like, wait, and then as Leilani's leaving, we're like, no, we really came to talk business. Let's. But
with the rest of the founders, co-founders, and C-level type, it's good to have like other cohort in the same. So just kind of shoot the breeze and like talk about. It's one of those things that you can't really. It's hard to talk about with others because it's hard to relate. Is some are like, oh, they're just push 9 to 5, but ours we push harder than 9 to 5. We don't even sleep sometimes, depending on what you do, especially on tech. So it has its moments.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
All right, everyone.
Cool.
I gotta go.
This is awesome.
For my next one.
All right. Yeah.